Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. So today's video is played again in the Italian M26 DC Ariete, and I think I have to play this tank quite a bit more. And so a lot of the gameplay where I think it is good footage for making a point, you will see probably in this tank, because grinding with it is quite effective, especially, combination premium tank, premium account, and then civil line or RP boosters. Preparation for the new patch. I still have to research quite a few of Italian tanks, so here we go. Today's topic is the difference between spawn camping and frontline camping or ambushing or just creating a killing field. So let's briefly talk here about the map, and that is Fulda Gap. Fulda Gap is a big map. It's by a certain part of the community not really beloved, and there are several reasons for it. Now, I for myself am in principle a fan of a well done big map, but not every big map is automatically, in my opinion, a good map. While I love Kursk and appreciated all the opportunities that this map design creates for me in a fast moving tank, light tank, Hellcat style tanks, all this that moves fast and is small and relies on ambushing. I just love the adrenaline rush that I get when I go to the riverside and try there to make a play through the forest. But on Fulda Gap, there are a lot of ups and downs, quite literally, to the map design. It's annoying that you have to cover such a long distance to then get into mostly short-range distance combats or short-range combat distances anyway. And it is also from the spawn going uphill all the time, which is super annoying and just something that I absolutely do not understand. And this is now approaching the very strong position. Super Pershing is the tank in my way. I wait for him to move out of the hull down position, and I didn't move. I didn't want to give away my position, never interrupt the enemy when he's making a mistake. So our second kill right there, and we are approaching here this edge of the ridgeline, and this is a very strong position. Look where we can look at. And our first candidate that I see at the moment is this mover, and that's an Avenger. But my aim is a little bit potato, and the shell takes so long that I only track him. And then the IS-2 aims at me, so I get back into cover to not get shot by the IS-2. I probably would have finished off this guy. And then I see a Hellcat on the move. Now the position gets a little bit abused. I cannot allow a Hellcat to move around freely on this map. And this is now the difference, because this is now a relatively long range engagement for that map. And yeah, I hull broke here the Hellcat for the third kill, I guess. And now I can just use the strong position, and look at this IS-2. He's holding position because the IS-2 has no idea where I am, and I have now literally the high ground again, so I can decide when to poke out or not. And when he moves, I can just poke out from on top of the ridgeline, take a shot, and reverse before he can elevate the gun, point the gun at me, come to a standstill, take the shot, and then by that time I am back in cover already. And with his long reload, he cannot afford staying in the open or standing in the open and just to go through the long reload. So this is now where I literally nail him down. And a little bit of a problem is now the Avenger, because I only tracked him. So there he is, and I see him. I see his antenna. I'm not quite sure if he sees me, but he points his gun towards me. I use now the artillery strike to blind him. I do not count on the artillery hitting him, but maybe to scare him away, to force him to move, and especially to blind him, because now I'm in a disadvantage. He's standing still. He is stationary with his gun pointed in my direction, and the 17-pounder is a nasty gun. What I count on is the artillery strike coming in, kicking up all the dirt and the rubble, and just blinding him. And here is the main artillery strike. I move aggressively over the ridgeline, overextending just a little bit to make sure that I can shoot at him. I wait up until the dust settles, and now the disadvantage is slow reverse gear, so he couldn't go back in cover in time, and that gives me the ace just right there. Strong position, and he couldn't go to threaten here the objective, although when I moved into this position we had all 3 objectives. Now we only have 1, and yeah, I keep talking to not show you this bad shot. Yeah, and then he's also 50 cal safe, which is annoying. A little bit of a better aim shot, and there we have our 6th kill. The question is, where is the next tank? And there is the IS-2. Good stuff right there. And I let him trundle into position. There is the slow gun elevation speed that gave me enough time to kill him, but I got shot in the back by an M26 slugger. I see that I cannot possibly shoot him over the back of my tank, but then a Tiger 2 saves me by killing the M36. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, and now I have to repair. So the difference here is between frontline camping and spawn camping is that I'm defending this position, that I am one of the furthest tanks in the front line, and I do not move all the way to the spawn, but I try to intercept their tanks. I try to cut off their tank replenishments, if you will. And this is normally a very dangerous thing to do, simply because, you know, you are amongst the enemy tanks, and mostly your team just doesn't or isn't in a position to really support you, which is kind of a problem. So if you then get damaged, you cannot really count on support coming in. Maybe aircraft, whatever. So I'm playing this careful. I try to appear from unexpected positions. I try to go back here in cover from the aircraft. I don't really feel all that well, and I have a plan. Maybe I should go through the middle. So previously I had now a lot of kills. I think it were 8 kills up until this point, and now I try to reposition. And from behind there is a German medium tank coming. In fact, it is a Panther D. So when he now comes over this ridgeline, he goes into the position where the enemy team expects me. I saw this T-34 and I had the gun faster on target than him, and this is my 9th kill. So not a bad result, if I may say so myself. I never can, deliver the double aces or triple aces. When you go for the very high kill counts, it's always a matter of luck where the enemy teams go, if they come to you one at a time and you really finish them off quite quickly without receiving damage, despite, your best map awareness and map knowledge and situational awareness. And the moral of this video is a critical one. So spawn camping for me is if multiple tanks of one side surround the spawn area of an enemy team, just waiting for an enemy tank to spawn, to move out of the spawn protection and then blab him, while completely ignoring the objectives and sacrificing it from the very start. And I think that the main difference here was that I was always aware of my surrounding and I didn't push for the spawn. I could have, going through the forest on the right hand side of the more southern spawn point, but I didn't. Now going here for the middle should give me now also access to the northern spawn, but the SU-152 killed the Panther D, and I want to go now to the little dip in front of me and go around it, but that puts me at an awful risk. The problem is I got here rocketed and the hit marker appeared, so I appeared on the enemy's map and I should have seen that tank, and he bounces on me. I need to push forward to see his weak spot, and now I identify it as an American T-34. Rather than going for the lower glacis, I went for the machine gun port, and as usual, like on any tank where I try that out, German tanks, American tanks, Jumbos in particular, it just lets me down. And yeah, I tried to blind him. There are 2 tanks right next to me of my team that should see him. I mark him, I try to blind him, I try to take out his gun, but then this happened and I got killed after 9 kills. So the moral is camping gets rewarded, and yeah, trying to make a play not really, due to the very reliable game mechanics of War Thunder. I tried to get back into the match here with the very fast American, I say American, with the wheeled tank, with the recoilless rifle, and try to get back into the match. Again, from the spawn here, I have to go uphill, no matter where I go, except for the eastern capture zone. I have to go uphill. This is so annoying. Every single battle, whenever I get killed. And also, respawning is a question here. Is respawning worth at this stage of the battle, just wasting time going to the front line where the match is already decided? We have all 3 capture points. We have the upper hand on the map. We have multiple tanks alive. We have an advantage in the spawn, in the score points. So yeah, I'm not really quite convinced. And then especially here the experience with this amazing driving models of Gaijin, where I just can't stand it. You know, some maps are just disgusting to drive on, trying to stay on the roads, on the fieldways. It's just disgusting. Nevertheless, that was the point made. Frontline camping, frontline position holding is a very strong gameplay depending on the map, and there is a distinction to make here between this and spawn camping. I hate spawn camping, but I do not disapprove. I actually approve of putting the pressure on the enemy team. It's just always a question if one team actually has the tanks capable of doing so. And that's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know in the comment section your opinion to those topics, and as usual we'll see each other in the skies, on the waves, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.